Hello, my name is Chelsea. I use she, they pronouns. Welcome to Tomodachi Life Living the Dream Welcome Version. Press A, Nintendo eShop. I wanted to give a quick tutorial today on how I created the custom eye backgrounds
Good evening.
for my fan troll so that they can still blink and they can still like close their eyes and stuff. They're not just painted on. So what I did, let me turn off the hair. And we'll turn off the eyebrows too. You can definitely use the eyebrows as part of the shaping of this if you would like. I wanted eyebrows, so I put on eyebrows. But what you want to do is pick an eye that doesn't have a white background. Good candidates are one where the black part of the eye is already, like the curve outside the eye is already touching the iris. And then you want to pick the color that you want your interior eye to be. So let's say if you had a character where like the whites of their eyes were pink or red or something, and then they had the black pupils. So obviously the best use for this, I think, is going to be Homestuck trolls. I've seen a lot of people making them, but they have white eyes, and it just feels off to me. So you want to use an eye like this. You don't want one like this that has the whites. You could use this one and take the shines out. It's a lot of the ones here at the top that are like that. There's also a couple down here at the bottom that I don't know how good these would be, but so I went with this one. And what I did from here, I'm going to kind of go backwards. So I did this part last. I used these to kind of hide a little bit of the discrepancy in the outside edge of the shape, and also give it that, you know, kind of swoopy down, like drooping, half-closed eyes, lashes kind of look. So you can see without that, there's kind of a bump there that this hides. So definitely get creative with like using the pieces for that. I used these, let me actually turn these off. I used these bottom lashes to, it's very subtle, but I made the pupils look more rounded because the base eye, I actually squished a little bit. So when the pupils turn into ovals instead of circles, so I used this. Here, you know what? I'll move them up so you can see what I mean. So I used these to extend the pupils upwards a little bit and make them look more round than they actually are. The top part of the eye here, so you could do like squinty, you could do, I did this, and then you turn it upside down, because normally it's at the top of the eye, and you can move it around and resize it and squish it to your heart's desire. But without that, you can see that it's just, so I also used the bottom part to kind of curve it more at the top. So I did this first, and then I added these later to shape out the pupils. So again, this is normally the bottom part of the eye. I used it to kind of cover the left half and give it the shape that I want, kind of that cat eye edge. I turned it upside down. Here, I'll move this also so you can see what I did. Squished it really flat and then moved it where I needed it to make that shape. So you could have like more droopy, you could have them be more bored. I didn't use the eyeshadow or anything, but you definitely could. Actually, it might not look too bad to do that. Yeah, that looks cool. I'm a Jade Blood, so this is my Troll Sona. And then I took out the shines because it doesn't really fit the aesthetic that I was going for. So that's the eyes. Again, you pick pick one without a white in it, and then use these pieces to shape it how you want. you'll notice that I used the freckles, because this with the freckle, if you make it green, the blush is a little bit strong, and it doesn't really work for what I wanted. So I used the freckles, and then I actually used this eyeshadow to create the blush, like this light eyeshadow, especially with different skin tones. And again, for Homestuck trolls, if you're into that like kind of blood color showing through the skin a little bit blush, this is definitely the solution for you. And especially with like darker skinned or not white characters, this can be a good way to do light blush without it being way overpowering. And then we'll talk about face paint. So I used face paint to do the horns, and the fangs, and that's it. If you face paint on an eye, you know, if you add an eye, and it's definitely a problem for like trolls that have, that's a great eye. If you paint on an eye, trolls that have like multiple eyes, this is definitely the solution. But if you paint on an eye, the problem with it is that it doesn't blink. So this is a way to let the eyes blink while also getting that colorful background that's not white. I will turn my hair back on to talk about the face paint and how it actually interacts with the bangs. So you can see if you look at the bottom connection of the horns, it's gonna change depending on the bangs that you pick, because the bangs have some 3D to them. You can see it really well there. So depending on the bangs that you pick, your face paint is gonna go behind part of the bangs. So the best way that I've found to manage that is to choose like a lighter color for the hair, and then go into your face paint and like change the color back later. So what I did for the horns is I got like the general shape that I wanted, and then I just made sure like where the bangs were cutting it out. So you can see here that they've got like this thing that comes down, but that part is actually cut off by the, this zoom is not great. They're cut off by this section of the bangs. So what I did was I went through pixel by pixel, and I kind of just found like where the outline of the bangs was. As you can see, I can't zoom in any more than that. But just kind of finding like, here's the edge of the bangs, and then kind of determining the other shape that I wanted from there. And then the teeth, when they open their mouth, the teeth will stay there. You can hit this button here and say paint on top. If you do paint behind, the teeth, for example, are gonna go behind the lips, which is not what you want. So you want to, if you want to have teeth, illuminate, not that. You want to do paint on top. So that's my tutorial. You can see the eye that I painted is being covered up by the bangs, because even paint on top will not help you with that, unfortunately. So with the eye, yeah, you see it goes under the bangs. You could also kind of move things around. If I can zoom in. So if I move the eye up here, you'll see that it peeks out of behind the bangs, and you can kind of see the shape that your bangs are going to cover up that way. And it's an easier way if you make the bangs a lighter color. So hopefully this tutorial helped you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good one.